AI really is a puzzle, still and evolving. We had exemplary presentations from our esteemed speakers, Mr. Jeevan Upreti, Mr. Alok Kumar Srivastava, and Mr. Rahul Kapoor. I think Mr. Deepak Brahmbhatt is disconnected because of some internet issues. So we will go ahead with our panel discussion. And your presentations were quite insightful and knowledge sharing. That's really good one. So I'll start with the general question. So according to you, panelists, how can shift to AI-based temperature control systems enhance optimization or resilience across cold chain infrastructure in pharma and healthcare or temperature-sensitive goods operations? So can we start with Mr. Alok?
Can you come back up?
How can shift to AI-based temperature control systems or predictive maintenance enhance optimization and resilience across cold chain infrastructure in pharma, healthcare, or temperature-sensitive goods?
So primarily, if you see Mr. Gopal, in today's time, my fellow panelist speakers, Jeevan and Rahul, would agree to the fact that we primarily operate in silos, like so IoT, the intelligence systems that we are using, they don't speak to each other. They are still, operating, we are still operating on silos. So whether it is refrigerated mobile tracking systems or IoT devices put into the systems inside the cold rooms or in the backend where the compressors are managed or maintained, they don't get integrated so easily. So once we integrate, we use the twin arrangement of AIoT, combining the AI with the IoT. I think a lot of sense will come into play. A lot of predictive analysis will help in ensuring there are lesser breakdowns, there are better management of temperature. We avoid those dark places, we avoid breakdowns, we do preventive maintenance before the logbook tells us or before we come to know there's a gas leakage or there's a compressor which is underperforming. So I think that integration which we see with AI bringing into the picture, that's something which we are looking forward to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alok. That was quite knowledge sharing. Interconnected systems are the order of the day. Coming to Mr. Rahul, what are your views about this?
Thank you, Mr. Gopal. So, primarily, I would like to, restrict my answer to largely fruit and vegetable. But yes, to say the truth, the AI-driven predictive analytics can, of course, transform the whole cold chain refrigeration from being reactive, control-based to proactive self-optimizing systems, which is especially critical for fruits and vegetables, where the small temperature deviations as well can cause major quality loss.
Correct.
When we look at the core problem in the whole F&B segment as a cold chain or entire cold chain as a basket, we'll find that specifically fruits, vegetables, pharmaceuticals are highly sensitive to temperature fluctuations. They are highly affected by the humidity, ethylene, airflow, and they're often exposed to inconsistent conditions during transit as well as storage, as Jeevan also spoke about during his presentation. Now, when we look at our traditional systems, they react after the temperature deviates. They lack real-time intelligence, which of course results in the spoilage, uneven ripening of fruits and vegetables, reduced shelf life, damage in pharmaceutical products. A lot of different food products. So what AI-driven predictive analytics can do in this whole scenario is it can create a model which can analyze historical temperature patterns. It can also predict the external weather data, door opening frequency at certain time of the day based on which equipment performance can be optimized. It can predict, temperature will rise in a certain zone more than in a particular different zone in next 20 minutes and 30 minutes basis which the operators can, manage the FIFO, LIFO of that particular warehouse. And reefer units, we have worked in an environment, Mr. Gopal, where we were able to, predict that reefer unit is also likely to fail in 72 hours or 96 hours if the higher pressure ranges are not brought under control immediately. So AI, of course, is the way to go as we move forward, because there is no other way we will be able to manage such massive infrastructure across our vast country like India with the minimal skill set available in the technicians on ground. So this is the way to manage the whole ecosystem from farm to fork to ensure best quality produces reaches us, our families, pharmaceutical or any other subject for that matter. So this is how I look at the whole integration of artificial intelligence within the AI of the ecosystem of cold chain to benefit all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul. That was quite knowledge sharing. And yes, skilling is the need of the time. Coming to Mr. Jeevan. So what are your views about AI?
So, Gopalji, I'll just try to connect the dots, starting from what Alokji said, then Rahul contributed, right? So, what Alokji
Sure.
said, there are empty silos, like, so I'll just try to put an example to it. So, if I'm providing an end-to-end supply chain solution to a customer, wherein I'm taking care of, say, the primary transportation, the storage, and the distribution. So in today's scenario, we don't have a single dashboard which covers the entire journey of a product, right? So we have a separate dashboard which tells you that, okay, the product is coming and this is the temperature. Then when it comes in the warehouse, you have a separate dashboard which tells you what is happening to that in the warehouse. And then when the product is out in the market, then there is a separate dashboard which is showing that journey. So when you do integration, so in a single dashboard, you should be able to cover the entire journey of the product, right? Number one. That is when the integration will happen, right? So single dashboard, the fruit is, for example, coming from farm, it enter a reefer vehicle, then it comes to a warehouse. The entire journey should be shown, right? Till it finally goes to the mandi, for example, for
Yeah.
now the other part which Mr. Rahul was emphasizing, no, during this journey, if there is any error, right, there happens some temperature excursion. For example, if in primary, because how the cold chain is connected, if you do some error at one single point, then that error is escalated, or if you try to control, there is a cost of energy and quality. So if there is a temperature abuse during transportation, for example, your quality get compromised, right? So before making that product enter into the warehouse, if you try to regain the temperature, but you may able to regain the temperature, but still you may not be able to regain the quality, right? So if that is the error which is happened, so as of now today, what happens, there is no one who records such error and tells in advance that, okay, this has been done, now this will be happening, because everywhere there are people who are noting this data. So a intelligent AI system will capture, for example, any incidents, and it will learn from there, and it try to teach the user next time, okay, if this is the this escalate to this level, so that the issue is taken care of before it get maximum escalation. So that is how AI, trained AI, will help. As of now, if there is any issue, you just tackle it, you record it, but how you guarantee that next time that will not happen, right? So an intelligent machine will do what? They will learn from the mistakes, they will take that data, and they will make sure that next time such mistakes are not happening. So there your artificial intelligence training and the usage will impact the supply chain.
And more so, Mr. Gopal, I think, especially if we talk about the pharma segment, which actually calls for an immediate intervention of the best of systems that can be made available. Because when you talk about the traceability, the recall features, which is so crucial in pharma, the systems or the chain breaks somewhere very fast. Like, I mean, you really cannot recall, or you really cannot arrange a kind of withdrawal of any particular pharma or any product which is already there in the market. So the moment it is out of the manufacturing plant and next maybe to the distributor or to the warehouse, but the moment it goes beyond a particular network, like the distributor to the sub distributor, and therefore and thereon to the customer or the end customer, it is very difficult to reach out and do the recall or even trace the entire journey of the pharmaceutical product. So I think this is where I think we are hoping and we all intend to put our efforts to bridge this gap and have this in place.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Jeevan, as well as Mr. Alok, for adding to the cold chain breakers and how to control that. So, Mr. Alok, coming to you, what key challenges do organizations face when implementing AI-driven solutions in temperature-controlled cold chain environments?
So, primarily, I mean, from my experience, like when I'm consulting various 3PL companies, so Asna's experience says like the adoption is one of the major challenges. Like, I mean, the ecosystem is still not ready to adapt or, go with the change. So the biggest challenge is the poor data, I would say, the quality, the fragmented systems. AI is only good as the data it receives. The most of the cold chain networks, they still operate in silos, as I mentioned, without any real-time visibility. And secondly, the discipline gaps, like the resistance to change. Even the best AI insights fail if the ground team, they don't trust or act on them. And the upfront investment, obviously, the unclear ROI, which is a big question mark for the adoption of from the organization point of view. So that is where I think we still need a clear roadmap going forward. That
Yes.
seems to be one of the challenges.
Yes, adoption is one of the most big challenges that companies are facing to install the new systems and go for AI systems.
Right.
Mr. Rahul, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Gopal,
Yeah. So while you were talking about the filters and the dust particles role for so according to you, what ways air filters get involved in the cold chain, and what all segments do you contribute? Like you were mentioning the post-harvest and pharmas and other things. So basically, what is the role of air filters in the
So
HVAC
it's
systems?
yeah, sure, Mr. Gopal. So two ways. When you're speaking specifically on the air filtration and the cold chain, where we go hand in hand is the pharmaceutical segment. And why we say that is because pharma products, especially the sterilized ones, are extremely sensitive to the dust particles, microorganisms, cross contamination. And of course, they are developed under a very, very clean environments under the ISO class clean rooms. And of course, high performing filters ensures that we remove the particles down to size 0.3 microns and below using the best class of HEPA filters. We protect critical processes like filling and compounding and packaging of the pharmaceutical products. And of course, without proper filtration, we have a risk of the product recall, patient risk, regulatory shutdowns, like we often read about in the newspapers that certain plant has failed the US FDA compliance or a GMP compliance. Now, all of that is in a one way or the other linked with both the cold chain as well as the air filtration. Just to go a bit more deep into that, I mean, India follows a very stringent regulatory compliances when it comes to pharmaceutical clean rooms, which is from a WHO or European Union, we follow GMP standards and we follow US FDA standards as well. And non-compliance to either of these can, of course, stop the production unit entirely. Hence, better the class we now want to maintain, more is the stages of the filtration we need in a particular area. For example, ISO class 5 means there is almost zero tolerance for contamination versus the grade D where we need only basic cleanliness. And how we help is by offering different grades and different types of filters in different stages, which includes pre-filters, fine filters, HEPA filters, our fan filter units, our terminal housings at different levels depending upon the customer's requirement. I mean, just to conclude, Mr. Gopal, I can simply put it this way that in any pharma clean room environment, filtration is the shield and class, what we maintain, is the target. And the entire system is designed to ensure that the required cleanliness level is consistently achieved. And there are absolutely no exceptions here. Because even a single particle can compromise the patient safety. So that's how critical the role air filtration plays hand in hand with cold chain when it comes to specific pharmaceutical segment. And when we speak about F&B, like I mentioned before, the fruits and vegetables, I've already explained the role of our new acquisition by ON by offering customers very sensitive ethylene sachets to stop the ethylene absorption, to increase the shelf life of climatic fruits like banana, oranges, grapes, kiwis, which are expensive, which have very short shelf life. We help them extend the life of the produce from farm to fork.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rahul. What I get is that contamination is also one of the issues which can be solved with the filtration.
Of course, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Coming to Mr. Jeevan, you talked at length about the presentation and so many things were there. You talked about the quality system also. And of course, because of Indian climate, there is quite of variation in temperature everywhere. And while Mr. Alok was mentioning about the ROI and adoption of AI. So according to you, what measurable ROI can organization expect from adopting AI for HVAC in cold chain management? Mr. Jeevan.
So, Mr. Gopal, as of now, it would be very difficult to give a number to it because across the world, still AI adoption in terms of result in ROI is still a very less explored domain, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I came across a research in US which says that because of use of AI and machine learning techniques. So it was in the International Journal of Pharma Council that the research was focused on a particular 2-3 states within the US, and they were able to save 10 to 15% of the losses using the AI techniques, right?
Right.
In the supply chain. But to be very honest, I haven't come across any such data so far which is saying that okay, X amount of investment was done and the AI adoption happened over 2-3 years, and this was the return. So far, it would be difficult to comment on this question as of now.
Yeah.
Because still, if you see, IoT adoption is there, right? A lot of technologies and IoT involvement is there, but still there are not existing systems where artificial intelligence really, help you out in solving day-to-day things.
Even IoT absorption has
Yes,
not gone to the saturation for.
Yes, and other than that, Mr. Alok already said, though the world is moving toward making tech stacks and giving user a good experience, but again in industries, not everyone is ready to adopt technology so fast, right?
Correct.
So even in our WMS, like we at IndiGold generally make our WMS tool in-house, right? So we try to give maximum visibility to the customer, real-time visibility of how their inventory is, coming into the system, how it is going. But again, not everyone buy that concept. Still, people will ask that we know, manual data, Excel sheets, right? So when I'm saying that adoption at such a basic level is still a challenge, so AI coming into the picture will take some more time.
Correct. That's a evolving process only. It's a very nascent stage. And
Yes.
yeah, still what would be the result, what would be the future is unknown to anyone, even the experts. They do not guess it.
Because
So,
see, as we all know, the recent war and all. So like 1 year back, everyone was saying that data is the new oil, right?
correct.
So now there was a very senior gentleman who was saying, brother, oil is also oil. The importance of oil itself is there. Data can't
Correct.
replace oil, because we know the world what kind of energy crisis everyone was facing. So that is how it is. So
Yes.
definitely, maybe in after 2 years, if you ask me this question, maybe by that time someone might have invested AI into their HVAC system, and they may have known that, okay, I invested this amount and this was my ROI, which can be then a model for the world to adopt.
Yes, yes.
But
Quite
as
right,
of now,
quite right.
coining any percentage won't be a right thing, to be very honest.
Yes, yes. Well, we are going in a very positive way. Anyways,
Yes.
so, Mr. Jivan, extending further, what innovation do you expect to redefine HVAC solution in healthcare or the pharmaceutical environments? Am I clear?
Can you again come? Yeah.
Yeah. What innovations do you expect to redefine HVAC solutions in healthcare and pharmaceutical environments or temperature-sensitive environments, whatever you say there?
As I said in my presentation, I
Right.
told you that as of now, the HVAC system don't speak to you,
Correct.
right?
Hmm.
So you attend a problem, but you are not able to uh, predict it before it occurs.
Hmm.
So the first stage would be, bridging that gap of prediction. For example, I gave you a very basic example. If you operate, whether it is a reefer truck or whether it is a cold chamber, if you do too much air changes, means like if you operate the chamber too much, or if you keep opening the door of a truck while it is doing a delivery, right? So what will happen? The warm air will enter into the system, the ice will choke. So
Mhm.
if there are systems which itself tell you that, okay, I come with this limitation and there will be a failure which is going to happen if you cross this. So that may be the next stage of advanced HVAC system,
Right, right. That's quite rightly said, Mr. Jivan.
the
Coming,
self-explanatory HVAC system.
oh yes. Uh, yes, very nice that way. Coming to Mr. Rahul. Hello, Mr. Rahul.
Yes, Mr. Gopal.
Yeah. So my further query is, how can AI-driven predictive analysis improve
Mhm.
temperature stability across refrigeration in fruits, vegetables, or other cold chain logistics?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned before, Mr. Gopal, and as Jeevan also mentioned, it's
Correct.
still in a very nascent stage. But if we have to become proactive, then reactive, and we have to work on the pre-analysis of how the cold chain is behaving in the entire farm to fork journey, there is no other way but to follow the right global practices and work with the best solutions available to ensure we maintain the desired temperature range during not only in the cold chain or in the cold room or not only at the farm level, but during the entire ecosystem or entire chain of from farm to fork. And unless we, as an organ, as a country, or as a institute, or as a vertical, fail to deliver that, we will never be able to get the best out of it. Because unfortunately, fruits and vegetables are extremely sensitive to temperature changes. And we live in a very tropical environment where we have a temperature change. Apple moving in from Srinagar at certain temperature reaches a market in Chennai where temperature is at least 10 degrees higher. Now, how do we ensure that the thermal shock does not go there? This apple must not lose its ethylene, its sensitivity because of the ethylene it is generating because of the higher temperatures towards south of India. It is not that solutions are not available, whether it is in terms of temperature, humidity, or ethylene absorption. It is about right stakeholders coming together to adopt the best possible solutions today. Unfortunately, Mr. Gopal, we are not in the habit of adopting solutions unless it is either too late, unless we have a massive batch failure, unless we have somebody knocking at our doors and telling us this is how you can do this. And I can give you a very classic example of a very big quick commerce company. We approached them. We tried to speak to them on a proof of concept that we got 2 boxes of mangoes, which were kept the way they are kept. And we got 2 boxes of mango in which we put our special ethylene absorbers. And we told them, whatever temperature they are maintaining inside the whole room, let it be. We will monitor the life. And you will be really pleasantly surprised to know the boxes wherein we put our ethylene absorbers had shelf life of 24 days versus 9 days of the shelf life where it was kept in a very natural manner. And that POC was an eye opener to this large company because every day they face 15 to 20% of wastage. And this wastage I'm talking about is only at a distribution center level. And you would have probably equivalent amount of wastage at a dark store level. So imagine how much we can save in the entire journey if we start following the right practices from the scratch. So this is my submission. There are solutions, they are good solutions, they are very cost-effective solutions. It's matter of time they will be adopted as a concept. But till that point in time, we will all have to work our way out above and see that we talk more about these solutions.
Yes, quite right. A lot of research and innovation is needed. And of course, before we go further, Mr. Alok. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what emerging trends in AI-powered thermal management and intelligent cold chain infrastructure are shaping the future of efficiency and sustainability?
Good one. In fact, as I already mentioned in my earlier discussions, that the strong shift, towards the AIoT. I mean, if I can say that, like AI combined with IoT, is enabling real-time visibility and end-to-end control across the cold chain networks. So the digital twins are another big trend. They allow simulation of thermal performance and help optimize warehouse layouts and fleet operations proactively. So predictive maintenance is also evolving into more prescriptive intelligence, where systems don't just predict issues, but recommend exact actions like leak fixes or load balancing and all. So on the sustainability front, AI-driven energy optimization combined with renewables is significantly reducing power consumption. And finally, yes, automation, computer vision, along with secure data layers are improving compliance, reducing human intervention, and making cold chains fully audit ready. So I think yes, but a lot yet to be seen. These are some theories that people who are finding the gaps are trying to come up with. And as mentioned in Rahul's discussion also about the spoilage of fruits and vegetables, I think a lot of learning has to come into the user or the customer or the owner of the produce, like whether to have the CA stores next to the farm or closer to the farm rather than bringing all the produce right from where it grows to down where the consumption happens. So preservation is again a big question mark. I think. So I think yes, AI will be evolving, and a lot of trends we'll get to see in the cold chain segment, especially related to pharma and food.
That's very insightful, Mr. Alok. You were talking about the spoilage. So my last question to all of you panelists is, how does AI optimize transportation routes to minimize spoilage of temperature-sensitive goods, pharma, vegetables, or whatever, and reduce operational cost?
Yeah, so I think if I So I think we need to break this into three parts primarily, or rather two parts to begin with. I mean, one is obviously the source from where it originates to the central warehouse or nearer to the consumer belt, you know. So that movement is very integral movement. Obviously, a lot of activity happens there. A lot of control exists there, as also mentioned in Jeevan's presentation, that I mean, you are able to track that long haul, or you are able to track that primary movement, which happens from the place of origin to the place of storage, or the hub, or the central warehouse, or the DC distribution center. The major challenge, so still that is to an extent measured, controlled. You have control towers, people monitoring the IoT, the sensors giving the signals over WhatsApp messages or SMSs and all. And there are complete protocols or SOPs that the the teams, they adhere to. But the real challenge happens in the last mile. So that is where things go out of control.
Right.
You know, I mean, I can expect HUL manufacturing good, or a Unilever or a Magnum making a perfect ice cream in their Nasik or Nalagarh plant, and handing it over to one of their primary transportation partner, which carries that in -18 from the plant right through the journey and right up to the distribution center. It gets unloaded. It's kept pretty well inside the warehouse. The warehouse monitoring systems also gets captured, and everything is taken care of right from the unloading to the storage and to the loading of the last mile, or when the person, or when the last mile vehicle carries the load for the to the distributors, or to the modern trade or the general trade. So actually, that is where the gap happens, and that is where the major work needs to be done in the last mile. So the temperature loss, whatever happens, or the breakage of cold chain in cold chain, that happens in the last mile only. Majorly, 90% of that I can say very confidently, until unless it's a major breakdown in the primary hall. The last mile takes the biggest beating, because you don't control the product that goes in the vehicle, then from the vehicle, from the parking lot to the stores, or to the customer's doorstep. That is where the control doesn't come in play. So ideally, more of those KFC or Pizza Hut boxes that glow red when they are hot, and the moment it is cold, it turns black. So those sensors, those sensitivity, those features we have to come up with. Though yes, people are coming up with shipper boxes, small size shipper boxes, which maintains the temperature, but doesn't give the visibility to the control tower. So that is where we need to bring in a lot of logic, a lot of mechanism to ensure that we are in complete control of the temperature right from the point of origin till the doorstep of the consumer. Yeah.
So very nicely explained, Mr. Alok. Thank you very much. Mr. Jeevan, can we have your views, please?
Sir, I believe that first the adoption of digital tools or digital way of business is very important before you
Correct.
really want to involve the AI tools. See, I'll give you a
Yes.
very practical scenario. Still in 2026, most of the logistic industry players uh, are, in not very well adoption of digital technical tools, whether they are your digital invoices, whether they are your digital proof of deliveries. See, because unless and until you can only ride on a technology when the user of it is able to adopt it.
That's very nice.
So
That's
many many tools are still there. Still,
yes.
you don't need a AI. You still have very good IoT tools which can help you get the entire visibility of the journey, right? But unless and until you shift yourself from adoption of the manual process, that
Mhm.
technology will add a cost component to it. You have to understand.
Correct. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
see,
That's
unless and until it make a business sense, any technology will not come.
very right. Truly said.
At the end of the day, everyone is here to make some business sense, right? No
Correct.
one is doing charity. At the end of the day, it is good that every technology is helping you, but then it should make a business sense, right?
Yes,
Whether you
yes, yes.
order food online, whether you have online ambulance and all, yes, there is a care and there is a giving back to societies associated, but then it should make business sense. And for business sense, see, it will not happen overnight that you make your entire logistic industry highly technical oriented and still the users are not shifting from the paperless.
Quite right. Quite right. That's very well
That is
said.
very important. That is very
Yeah.
important. And that
Yes,
shift is
yes, yes.
still not there in many industries. In many industries, still people want to have that lots of paper coming to you, 15, 30, 40 papers. At the end of the day, it's an environmental impact also. Why can't we shift from paper to paperless, right?
Correct, correct.
Cut a lot number of trees here and there. So you use technology, but you have to go into very deep that you start adopting those things and everything is having a valid. You don't need a a paper agreement to enter into some business. There are digital agreements, but that adoption. So the sooner that adoption happens, the sooner the technology will come, and then you will get solutions.
Yes. Main thing is ki how to choose the technology, in what ways its application should be utilized.
Yes,
So
and everyone see, if I am a service provider, I am highly technical capable. But then if my customer don't want to take that technology, what will I do?
correct, correct. How, Mr. Rahul, what are your views?
Thank you, Mr. Gopal. I would take this opportunity to just again share my one screen for a moment to show
Okay.
your question was very specific to how we can help the logistics during the logistics side. So I'll just take a moment and share my screen with you and
Sure.
the audience just to show what we have. And there are, I mean, like Jeevan mentioned, even before we reach the AI stage, there is a lot we can do before that. And what we have in store is something called as a filters for the transport solutions, and these are very relevant for India, like large country, where our transit time from farm to fork could be 7 days in transit. So we have a solution which not many people are aware of, and even those who are aware have not decided yet to use it. These are the filter tubes which are installed in the closed door environment, specifically to do with the post harvest solutions. And these can be very simply installed inside the refrigerated containers or non-refrigerated containers in case of the cargo, which is not mandatorily put in the refrigerated ones. And how these tubes help you? They eliminate ethylene, other harmful gases like ethanol, etc. They are designed primarily for the refrigerated environments because we need to have a air movement for all these gases to be absorbed. They act continuously both during the short and long trips to ensure there is no ethylene ethylene goes to the fruits. They don't overripe during the journey. They remain fresh. So yes, Mr. Gopal, we have multiple solutions available in both physical form and in the form of the softwares. We can help our customers use and save a lot on the shelf life. And to the world, as we say, we save. We have enough food available in the environment today to serve the entire humankind. Only if we can save what we are wasting today.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Lal Bahadur Shastri once said, if we stop taking one meal in a day, there will be enough food for everyone to consume.
For everyone.
And now we say that only if we can save even half of what we are wasting, we will never, nobody will sleep hungry. So
Correct.
we have solutions. Let's wait for the good times to come when we see easy adoption of the technology, early adoption of the technology, and just like we are the number one producer of a lot of fruits and vegetables in the world, I wish for the day when we become number one adopter or adaptation on the adaptation of the new technologies in the world. So
Correct.
thank you.